We called them some of the worst charities in the U.S., and they responded with silence.
Don't turn your camera on me, okay?
Shutting doors in our face.
If you have any other questions, please send them to her email.
Okay, my question.
Mr. Reynolds even giving us the finger.
No, where are you going, Mr. Reynolds?
The question they wouldn't answer, where is all the money? 2.5 years later, we now have a pretty good idea.
This is an historic moment.
A federal investigation has found $187 million raised in donations to 4 separate cancer charities has largely gone not to cancer survivors, not to cancer research, but somewhere else entirely. Scammers and fundraisers. If you gave a dime to the Breast Cancer Society run by James Reynolds Jr., the Cancer Fund of America run by James Reynolds Sr., the Children's Cancer Fund of America run by Reynolds Sr.'s ex-wife Rose Perkins, or the Cancer Support Services run by Kyle Epler, you are not going to like it.
This is just about as bad as it can get, taking money away from cancer victims.
In a massive crackdown on this family of charities, the Federal Trade Commission and attorneys generals from all 50 states have announced 2 of the charities will be dissolved. The complaint also includes potential fines totaling $136 million, and in explicit detail have outlined how donations for cancer charities were spent instead on luxury lifestyles. The personal spending, says Jessica Rich with the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, appears to have had no limits.
Cars for the individual defendants and others working at the companies. Interest-free loans and college tuition for the individual defendants. Meals at Hooters, gym memberships, cell phone apps and games, movie tickets. Carnival cruises in the Caribbean, trip to Disney World, jet ski rentals, and babysitters for the kids while people were on these boondoggles.
James Reynolds Sr. is the only member of the family fighting back. He now runs both the Cancer Fund of America and a sister group, Cancer Support Services. He's refused to talk to us for the past 3 years, and apparently is refusing to shut down. The Federal Trade Commission will now try to force him out of business. According to the federal complaint, specific promises made by all of the charities to help cancer patients were untrue. These were lies, the complaint says. And instead of helping cancer patients, the Reynolds family charities helped themselves. Lavish 6-figure salaries to the leaders, and what the FTC calls rampant nepotism, hiring relatives and friends for big salaries too. Want an example? According to federal investigators, James Reynolds Jr., who runs the Breast Cancer Society and gave us that one-finger salute, hired his assistant, Christina Hickson, to be his, quote, operations and public relations manager. He then married her. His salary, $286,000. Hers, $135,000. The charity also hired Miss Hickson's 2 sisters, her son by a previous marriage, her mother, and her stepnephew. None qualified for any of the jobs, says the government, but all paid with donations.
They spent virtually all of the money on themselves.
The total haul in donations from 2008 to 2012, a whopping $187 million. Drew Griffin, CNN, Atlanta.